So let's talk about some tools for finding scholarly literature. Mainly, I want to talk about Google Scholar and then recommend a few AI tools as well. Google Scholar is one of the most useful, powerful search engines for finding journal articles and other scholarly literature. It's also super user intuitive. We've all Googled something before. You type in what you're looking for and it hunts through the internet for it. Google Scholar is similar, except that the things that you can find is not across the entire internet. It's narrowed down to things that are more scholarly. So journal articles, scholarly books and theses, conference papers. And if you have certain selections turned on, it can also look for patents and legal cases. It also includes links to full text PDF versions of the articles if they're available free of charge. One of the great things that Google Scholar does is it is able to hunt down any free version that exists, and there will be on the far right a link where you can access that free full text version. It's also helpful to know that if you are logged in through your library with Google Scholar, everything your university library has access to will show up in those right-hand links. So you just go in, turn on your institution in the library links area, and then once you click through to an article, your institution will ask you to log in, and then you're able to get a lot more access there. Now, of course, there are other indexing tools. If you go to your university library, they may have EBSCOhost or JSTOR, some other ways of finding articles. But Google Scholar is pretty powerful, something you can use at home and use pretty easily. Some other key benefits is that not only does it give you broad access to academic research, but it also tracks citations. To measure an article's impact, you can pretty quickly see how many other scholarly sources have cited it. And so that citation count is not just mentions in a blog article, it's other scholarly publications that have cited this piece. And of course, if there's a low citation count, but it's very new, give it a little more grace because it takes time to build up those citation counts. The publication process can be relatively slow. It also has a related articles link. So if you found a particular article really helpful in your project, clicking that related articles creates a whole new list of articles similar to that one. Another feature that's super helpful is the cite feature. So if you find an article you like, click on the cite button, and there's different scholarly formats in which you can cite it, APA, MLA, Chicago, for example. So then you just copy the APA, paste it into your paper. It's worth noting, though, that it doesn't automatically put in the hanging indents. So once you paste that APA citation or reference into your references section, you'll still need to change the hanging indents so that the first line is left justified and the additional lines are indented. You can also use Boolean logic for better searches in Google Scholar. If you put quotes around something, it won't just search for each individual word. It'll search for those words in that exact order. If you type in social capital theory, it'll be hunting for social, capital, and theory. But if you put quotes around it, it'll be hunting for social capital theory specifically. You can use the or operator. So maybe you type in inequality or poverty, and then it will hunt for articles that mention either inequality or poverty. Of course, if you write and, it would look for both, but it would do that anyway. You don't necessarily need to use the and operator, but or can be helpful. You can exclude certain words. In some Boolean searches, you put a not, but in Google Scholar, you do not use not, you use the minus sign. So say you typed in climate change minus policy. Then it would look for articles on climate change, but it would leave out articles on climate change policy. Well, technically, if you did what I just said, it would look for articles that have the word climate in it or change in it. But if you put in quotes climate change, then it'll look for those articles minus policy. It'll leave out any article that is about policy related to climate change. Or you type in college minus community, then it won't pull up articles about community college. You can also have it narrow what it focuses on in the search. So by putting, for example, in title colon, and then the term you're looking for, it won't then search through the abstract, the keywords, or the body of the text of the article. It will only look for that word in the title of the article. So that can be helpful if you really want to make sure you have narrow focus and that the article is very much about it to the degree that the title carries the search terms that you're looking for. In title colon. There's some other operators you can use, but that's a pretty good initial set to get you started searching. Now, let me mention a couple of AI tools that are helpful. So the most common one, widely used, widely known right now is, of course, ChatGPT. It is very helpful for research assistants, but you need to know its limitations and some of the tasks it's most helpful for. So one, it's super helpful for brainstorming, especially brainstorming research questions, research topics, search words or keywords that you should be looking for in Google Scholar. You can kind of loosely say to, put a prompt in ChatGPT of what you want to research, ask it to give you 20 specific research questions, for example. You pick the one you like the most, edit it if you want, and then ask it to give you relevant search words, keywords that you should use in Google Scholar. You could also ask AI to recommend literature to you, but here's the big caveat. Because it's a large language model, it does know a lot of very popular research, especially if it's been written about across the internet. If it's super new or a little more niche, it's not going to be as confident with it. And occasionally, ChatGPT may what's called hallucinate, literally make up a source or a piece of literature, all the way down to fictitious author names, journal article title, journal title. So anything it gives you, if you're asking for literature on a specific topic, you need to copy and paste each item into Google Scholar and verify that it exists and that it's referencing it correctly. Skim through the abstract, take a look at the article yourself. It's better at teaching you about theory. So maybe you're writing a paper and you need a theoretical frame for that paper. Asking ChatGPT, once you give it your research question and the core topic, and asking it which theories, maybe in your discipline, which sociological theories or psychological theories or educational theories would help frame this research question best. And it would give you a few options, and then you can ask it to educate you on some of those different theories. Now, it's not going to be as at risk of hallucinating theory because theories, if they're popular enough, they've been widely published. And so then you can ask, what is an originating citation for this theory if you choose to use it? And then again, double check it in Google Scholar. You can also ask it to summarize abstracts or key sections of articles. If you have the upgraded version, you can upload the full text PDFs and ask it to summarize articles for you. This is helpful, especially in that initial lit review search where you're trying to figure out which articles best support the claims you're making and help you build a case and an argument. And you can also brainstorm with that about just different methodologies you might want to use. Should I use a survey approach or an interview approach or an experiment? Or is there publicly available data about this topic? Beyond ChatGPT, there are a plethora of additional AI-powered literature review tools out there. I don't have time to even scratch the surface here, but a couple key mentions just to give you a feel for the kinds of stuff that's out there. One is Elicit. elicit.org. It will find, summarize, and organize different research papers. You type in your research question or topic, and it populates a spreadsheet of different articles and a couple of key features about those articles. And what's neat is you can select the ones you want to keep as you go down the list and which ones you want to get rid of for whatever reason. But then you can also ask it to add new columns. Maybe you're like, summarize the findings, summarize the methodology, or does the article use this keyword? And it'll go down and tell you for each article in your list. Cite, scite.ai, helps categorize citations as either supporting or contradicting. It's just an additional helpful tool to use. researchrabbitapp.com helps visualize citation networks. If you want to find a gap in the literature and have a key article you're building off of, you can make sure all the key things that have cited it you've included or you're at least aware of. So it helps create this network diagram of the literature, rather than just hunting for it through a search bar like in Google Scholar. So lots of different tools out there. There's new ones coming out all the time and different ones evolving. So, definitely check out some possible tools. You can even ask ChatGPT what some tools are to help you with your research process and literature search. And it will give you some of the most useful and popular tools that are current at the time of search. So in summary, here's some best practices. Verify AI-generated information. Always cross-check with original sources. Beware of the fake citations because of hallucination, of incorrect references. Use AI as a supplement, not a replacement. Use it as a research assistant, not as a ghostwriter doing the research for you. Your critical thinking remains essential. Plus, you want to build those skills and not over-rely on these tools in such a way that it harms your own development and educational journey.